Aaron, what does it mean to add Max to your rotation?
One of the game's great pitchers with a long track record now of doing it really consistently. We've had the unfortunate pleasure of facing him a couple times in the interleague where we didn't get to miss him, and just a talented guy that can do a lot of different things on the mound, fields his position incredibly well. Has shown the ability to even, at an early point in his career to kind of evolve and be able to, add and subtract to his arsenal. And we think that pitchability that he has is something that's going to serve him over the long haul. But, in the immediate, we're getting one of the game's great pitchers to add to what we feel like is already a very good rotation.
Aaron, when you add a guy like Max to this already good rotation, what does that do to help push everybody else on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you always hope that kind of happens organically on some of the best teams you play on, or some of the best team cultures and environments that you create that you gotta create every year. You can't take it for granted, where there's that internal competition too that goes on. That whether it's in this case the starting rotation, where those guys are kind of pushing one another. One guy handed it off to the next guy, wanting to outperform the next guy. When those things kind of happen organically, and again, that's not a given. You got to work at that every year. Those create those opportunities to where you can then tap into something really special.
What about having a lefty near the top of that rotation?
Yeah, I think going back in the history of our sport, having left-handed starters in Yankee Stadium's always been something that's of maybe added value, and I think that's the case with Max. His ability to keep the ball on the ground, keep the ball in the ballpark, but really, dominate both sides of the plate because his arsenal is so vast. So, I think in a perfect world for us, you always love to add a lefty, and to compliment Garrett up there at the top is pretty impressive.
Max said several times how meaningful it is for him to be in an organization like this, how awed he was by just walking through the clubhouse and through Yankee Stadium. How important is that for you guys as you're weighing whether it'll be a good fit for the team?
Huge. I think as you guys have seen, he's reserved. He's not a, loud, big talker. So while certainly we obviously identified him as certainly the top of our board as free agent targets, getting to know him and like he said on that call, you really found some common ground, and it was kind of an easy back and forth. And I think he's going to thrive here. I think he's going to thrive in our pitching environment. I know he's excited to work with Matt and our pitching group, and hopefully, as good as his career has been so far, hopefully we can continue to move the needle and help him get a little bit better too.
How have you bounced since the Juan Soto decision?
How have I bounced?
How have you bounced back, or how do you respond to that?
Yeah, one thing I know for sure is ownership and Hal and the Steinbrenner family are going to do everything they can to put forth a team that's capable of competing for a championship. And I think we're getting to that point now. Like, I acknowledge it's December, and, obviously losing out on Juan was somebody we, obviously wanted to bring back, but there's also other ways to get it done. And, I think ownership and Cash and the front office have done a great job of kind of pivoting and, start to lay the groundwork here of giving us a team that has a legit chance to go compete for it. And that's ultimately the goal you try and accomplish in the winter. But again, it's December, so hopefully there's a few more things to be done here, and then we get down to Tampa and start the real work at going back and hopefully getting back to a World Series.
Pivoting off of that, you talked about it being December, but just the pieces coming together, and seeing who you might get or who you have already gotten. How cool is it as a manager to kind of piece together this is what the team could look like, even though we're not done yet?
Yeah, I'm thrilled with the moves we've made. Obviously highlighted here by Max today, but Devin, Belly obviously last night, Loizaga back in the mix and returning from injury, and what we have already from a core standpoint, and what I believe in some of our young players of taking another step forward and becoming even more critical parts of the equation. I have a lot of confidence in what a handful of our young guys I feel like are going to emerge as this year for us as well.
How much does Bellinger's versatility mean to you in this ball club?
Awesome. I had a good conversation with him last night. He's very excited, and one of the first things he told me, without me even broaching the subject, was, by the way, I don't care where I play, wherever you need me on a given night, center, left, first, whatever it is, I'm happy I'm in the lineup, and I think it's also a testament to the kind of player he is, that he has a lot of confidence and he's shown that in his career, the ability to go play at a really high level at a lot of different positions.
Max Fried is in your rotation. How does it sound to you?
I like it. Obviously he's one of the game's better starting pitchers, and you can never have enough high-quality starting pitchers, so we're happy to import him with what we already have. We've got a strong rotation already. Just adding to it protects us in a lot of different ways, and hopefully we can continue to excel in that area as we did in 24.
What was it about those conversations with him initially that made you want to bring him here?
Well, first, we assessed the talent for a long time as, one of the premier starting pitchers in the game. Once we got a chance to know him, too, you got a much more comfort level because, again, you're flying blind on the person. You hear about the competitive side from your pro scouts and from your makeup assessments when you do your connection tabs with your teammates and your clubhouse guys and your pro scouts, finding everything you can about the person. But when you get a chance to actually get to know them, in an interacting way, we did a Zoom with them, and we had at it. We just had a lot of different deep dive questions with him, and my takeaway was I already knew he was a competitor, but this was a genuine, down to earth human being that was very easily relatable. I thought that the way he handled himself, he tucked really well into this clubhouse. Every day he's not pitching, and then and be that warrior you need on the days he does pitch. So we all walked away going, "Oof, that was an impressive individual." He's really smart, very thoughtful in his answers, and if you follow his journey as a artist there on the mound, since his amateur days, drafted by the Padres, traded to the Braves, he's continued to evolve and emerge. Adapting and adjusting and growing his repertoire, adding certain pitches, then becoming the master of those pitches as he continues to find ways to navigate, prominent lineups here in Major League Baseball and do it extremely well at a high end on a consistent basis. So, we felt really good.
Brian, after the initial sting of losing Soto, how happy have you been with Plan B, so to speak, and the moves you've been able to make?
Yeah, I don't know about happy, not happy. The job is just to try to find the best way in the marketplace that's available in front of you to improve the team. We had a great run in 2024. It's going to be a different team in 2025 because we have, we've made some trades now, and we've lost obviously some high-end players, including Juan Soto, but not just him, Clay Holmes and Tommy Canley currently is a free agent. Gleyber Torres is a free agent. Timmy Hill's a free agent. All these guys played, real important roles to where we got last year. So every year your team is different, and the intent always is to find a way to rework it where somehow you're giving yourself as good a chance, if not better, as you move forward. And so that's the conversations are leading us certain directions. Happy with what we've done thus far, but recognize that the competition in our division alone is rather daunting. And obviously everybody's going to try to do everything they can to take the World Series title away from the Dodgers. So got a lot of heavy lifting that we're doing currently, but more to be done.
Are you confident that much success lies ahead, even with Soto making the decision to go elsewhere?
I mean, that's why you play the games. We just want to put ourselves in the best position possible. I want to, be able to provide our manager and our coaching staff as much talent that can defend the ball, keep runs off the board as opposing for our pitching staff, and then and put runs on the board on the offensive side. And then obviously, the trick is to keep them all healthy. So we'll see. The goal always is to put together a team that our fans can be proud of and can believe, and our players can believe that they have a chance to take a shot at the title. So that's always our intent. It's always our goal, and but talking about it in the winter doesn't matter. It's whatever comes together, whatever we come down to Tampa with, and finding a way to let it mesh and then let it go and see where it goes.
How much does Cody Bellinger help this ball club?
He's a nice fit for us. Again, a lot of flexibility there. He's a left-handed bat that puts the ball in the air on the pull side that fits our ballpark. He's an above-average defender in the outfield as well as first base. So we got some choices there for our manager to play with, depending on how this winter shakes out. He runs the bases really well, very athletic. So, he checks a lot of boxes for us. And so I'm happy that again, when we lost, for instance, to Juan Soto, we lost the left-handed balance portion of our lineup. So it's nice to continue to add some choices there, improve some defense, but again, more work to be done.
What have you identified as some priorities moving forward now that you've gotten this group of guys inked?
Well, they're, first and foremost, I do have internal options. I think, DJ LeMahieu should be healthy as we enter spring training, so I don't want to discount, where DJ could play a role here, whether it's at third or at first or at second. We have obviously Oswaldo Cabrera. We have Ben Rice that had some growing pains, learning a new position at first base. So those, and then Jason Dominguez that could be deployed, and ready to go for the outfield. So those are the internal choices. We've got to measure that again, towards the external options. So we acquired Jazz this past summer at the trade deadline. He can play third now. He's proven that. He can play second. So depending, what I do externally, if anything, he could, if I bring in a third baseman potential, he can go to second. If I bring in a second baseman, he stays at third. If I bring in a first baseman, Rice can, percolate more in the minor leagues at AAA. If I bring in an outfielder, Jason gets more development time. There's just a lot of different things. Or if we stay on line with what we already have, we go through that lane as well. So it just, conversations will continue with free agents and with trade partners, and no guarantees, but we're trying to be as aggressive and find ways to improve the team. Period.
So what's your message to Yankees fans this holiday season?
We're getting after it, and our intention is to find a way back to the World Series, and so stay tuned.